Oh no, my eyes come off. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I thought I would create a mosaic self-portrait of obviously my face. And I haven't taken a photo or any reference or anything like that because I don't need to. Because I have my little self-portrait sculpture right there. We look exactly the same. So whether this self-portrait will actually look like my face or whether my self-portrait will look like this questionable character sat here, we'll soon find out. Okay, so I thought I'd create my portrait on this little piece of MDF here. And it's a circular shape too, which I think is quite nice. And then I've got a giant box of mosaic pieces. And there's different bits of glass and ceramics and stuff, so it should be quite nice. I've got a lot to work with. It might also look quite random. And you also might notice a little bit of a change. Because yes, I've bought a new tabletop. Not a brand new table, just the top of the table. The legs were fine. And before you say, please be careful with this table, don't ruin this table. If you look over here, when I was drilling the tabletop for the legs, I went right through to the other side. So I've barely had it a day and it's already ruined. It's just going to be a repeat of the pink table, I know it is, but at least there's no blobs of resin and paint all over it yet. Okay, now normally I would just jump straight in and start sticking tiles to this, but I'm going to plan it a little bit more. So I'm going to draw the outline of a silhouette, which might potentially look like me. It also just might look like a generic person. And I also think it'll be quite nice to have a border around it. So I'm just going to map it out with a pencil before I start, just to give us a little bit of an advantage. Ta-da! You would think a child drew it, you really would. But it's just a rough outline, okay? It's not supposed to be super accurate. I can envision it. I can 100% see myself in there. Okay, so I think I'll start with the border first. I think I want just like a very colourful, random kind of border. I think that'll look quite nice. I wonder how long this is going to take us. I've also never really done proper mosaic before, so I'm just using super glue, but if other people do different things, then good for them. There we go, a lovely frame for my hopefully lovely face. The only thing I've realised about doing the border is because I've bought a mixed bag of stuff, it might be a little bit more difficult to kind of match colours and match different textures and stuff, but I think that'll be nice. It'll be a nice little challenge. But I think I'm off to a good start. Okay, so I think my best bet is to tip all of these mosaic pieces out onto the table to do this more detailed part, just so I can see what I've actually got, because otherwise it's just never going to work, is it? See, I have a little random stone in there. If I hadn't tipped it out, I would have never have found that. That could be an eyeball. If I can find a second one, then it'll be an eyeball. Oh, look at that one. That looks like a jelly bean. I shouldn't have done this, I'm gonna get distracted. That one could be an eye as well, that's bright blue. Put you there. I feel very overwhelmed. I do want to start with the eyes though, I think that's the hardest part. What do eyes look like? I've just realised I didn't draw myself any glasses on, I keep forgetting I wear glasses. There we go, that's why it didn't look like us. Also, I'm realising I could have really invested in like some tile cutters so I could cut them down to shape, because I'm basically just having to work with what I've got. And what I've got to work with is just a bit random. Okay, let's start gluing again. How cool does that look? I'm really pleased with it actually. It definitely looks like eyes and glasses. Is this my new talent? Am I a mosaic artist? I think I am. Obviously when I grout it, it's going to really start to come to life. That's when the magic happens with mosaic. But look at that. You can disagree with us all you want, but I'm very happy. I think it looks exactly like us. The problem I have now though is that my skin colour is all the same. So I don't know how to do a nose in mosaic because I don't know how to draw a nose. I don't know how to sculpt a nose. And I find noses awkward and just irritating. I wish we didn't have them. So I think my next step is the nose, the mouth, and the ears. I think they're the most important part of a face. Because without noses and mouths and ears, we'll attract attention, won't we? I feel like it's getting a bit out of control with the mouth. I think I look a little bit scary. But it looks like a mouth, so that's good. Okay, a little check-in once I've added some of the detail. These things are ears if you didn't know. And I think it's looking alright. The only issue I'm gonna have is with my skin colour, because I don't have a lot of pinky hues, but I do have a lot of white. And I know technically I am white, but white people aren't bright white. We usually have a peachy kind of tone to our skin colour, but I don't have any of that. And I was thinking about just making my skin colour blue, but then that just wouldn't look like us at all, would it? And this is already looking hyper realistic. So I think I'll go for like off-whites and try my best. And for my hair, I'll go for yellow for my hair, because I've got quite a bit of yellow, and I know a lot of it's brown. Well, the front bit's yellow, but the front bit's blonde. I think yellow will just differentiate it just a tiny bit. Okay, just a little check-in, since I've made some mammoth progress. Super glued it to the table. I've also got super glue all over my hands. And I quite liked it up until I did the hair. I don't think the hair's looking good at all. It just looks like a block. But I've just got my t-shirt and my background to do, and I need them in two very different colours, because otherwise it's just going to all merge together. I'll do the t-shirt in green, and I'll do the background in blue, because I feel like I've got the most of those colours, and then hopefully it just won't blend too much. And what I like about Mosaic as well is it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and you'll go through your bits and you're like, oh, there's a long bit, I need a long bit for this bit. It's quite fun, and I don't think I'm that bad at it. And the grouton's going to save it, we know it is. So, you know, don't get too upset. Okay, so this is what we're working with so far. You just can't tell us apart really, can you? I do think it's looking quite cool. I'm just hoping once I get it grouted, they'll really bring it to life, and that's when the magic will happen. I was going to grout it today, but A, I want the glue to really set. I don't want any of these tiles coming off. And B, I'm absolutely knackered. Mosaicing takes forever. I think this has taken me about 2 hours. It might have taken more, I don't know. But I did enjoy the process. It was actually quite fun. It was quite therapeutic. Just my back's hurting now. Getting so old. But yeah, I'll check in with you tomorrow and we can grout this. And I have actually got a special kind of idea for the grouting part, which I think might look okay. I think it'll look quite cool anyway. So I'll see you tomorrow for phase 2. So my grouting idea for this is to use just some of this regular white grout, but I'm going to mix it with some red glitter. I think that'll look quite fancy and just sparkly and a little bit different. I've also never grouted anything before, but I think I know what I'm doing. It should be alright. So I just want to mix this together with the glitter first. I'm not sure how much I'm going to need. I'd rather have too much than too little. Okay, and I want loads of glitter mixed into here. Oh, this was such a good idea. And the thing is, you can buy grout with glitter already mixed into it, but it's really expensive. And I don't know why you'd buy the expensive one when you can just make your own. Okay, it definitely needs more glitter. Okay, I think that'll do. I think that looks pretty cool. Now, it has just dawned on us that I could potentially ruin this with this next step. So if I do, that's just to refresh your minds on how amazing this looks. Hopefully it goes well. I don't have any proper, like, scrapey spatula things for grouting, so I'm just going to use a piece of cardboard. And I think that'll be good enough. And I'm assuming all you do is take a thick layer and kind of squeegee it over this. I'm so worried because this took me forever. So if this ruins it, I'm going to be so upset. Oh no, I know what I'm doing. This is fine. Right, so I just want to scrape any of the thickness off this first, just with a fresh bit of cardboard. Okay, I'm just gonna have a quick tidy up because I've made a right mess. Also, it was a little bit difficult to grout because I used a mixed bag of tiles that were all different thicknesses and shapes and sizes and stuff. So it was a little bit tricky, but I think I've gotten away with it. But I need to tidy up the tiles next as well, so this isn't what it's gonna look like. So give us 1 second. Okay, now apparently this next step, you can either do once the grout's dry or when the grout's still wet. And it's basically just cleaning and buffing up the tiles and getting any of the grout off. And to be fair, I'm thinking it's going to be easier once it's dry, but I also don't have time. How long does this take to dry? It doesn't say, but I assume it's going to be at least a day, and I don't really have the time. So I'm going to try and just get this off now, but if I feel like I'm struggling, then I'm just going to have to wait another day. Oh no, I think this will be alright. It's going to take us forever. No, actually, it's going to be much easier to do once it's dry because I'm just scooping some of the grout from in the cracks. Okay, so I'm going to wait another day, or I might jump back on today if I feel like it's set a little bit. It might only take an hour, I don't know. But I'll see you when I see you, and we're going to get this to look better than what it's looking like at the moment. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, it's the same day. It's about 5 hours later, and I think this should be alright to clean up now. I feel like it's pretty dry, and I've just read online that a sponge is better at cleaning this grout off the tiles than a cloth. So I'm gonna give that a go. We'll see what happens, and just hope for the best, really. Oh yeah, that's quite good, actually. I think this is gonna look quite nice. Oh no, my eyes come off. I'm devastated. I'm gonna have to glue that back on. That's such a shame. How upsetting. The other eyeballs come out as well. I'll have to glue them in later. I had a feeling that was gonna happen. It can be fixed, it can be fixed. Okay, I think that's all the grout off. It's quite hard to tell though. I definitely don't think that's the easiest way to do it. I am absolutely sweating my tits off. I'm so hot. That was so much work. I don't know, if you're familiar with mosaic, let me know in the comments if that is the correct way to do it, because I have a feeling it's not. But I'm gonna have just a little bit of a tidy up, and I'm gonna stick my eyes back on, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, and there's my final mosaic self-portrait. And yeah, I definitely don't think it looks that much like us. It looks a little bit more like that thing behind, apart from it being blonde and with glasses. It's almost like a geometric version of that. But I had quite a lot of fun doing it. I just didn't realise mosaic takes as long as it does. It's a very time-consuming process. Every single step of it takes forever. And although I'm really happy with the glitter grouting, which you won't be able to see here, see it a little bit more up close. It looks better in person, the grout, not the actual thing. But I wish I'd done it in a black grout. I think black would have looked better than the white. It would have just given it a little bit more contrast because I've used a lot of white tiles on here. But I think if I did this again, and if I did mosaic again, I would be way more successful because I pretty much know what I'm doing now. I'm almost an expert. For my first attempt, I don't think I've done a bad job. Twins! But hopefully you did enjoy that video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see me make my own portrait in another medium, I've done sculpture, I've done painting, and now I've done mosaic, then let me know in the comments. And also let me know if you've got any mosaicing tips for us, because that would be very helpful. Just don't slag us off and be mean, okay? It's not nice. But anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!